In this screen capture, we're going to look at how you can use the New Zealand Food Composition database that's available online to plan a diet that better meets your requirements. So let's say you've identified by keeping a diet record and having an app or a website crunch the numbers that you may be low in a given nutrient, a vitamin, a mineral, whatever it might be, and you want to bump that up in your diet by finding foods that are rich in that vitamin or mineral. Or you've had some testing which indicates that your body is relatively low in a given nutrient, and again you want to increase it, not necessarily by taking a supplement, but by actually modifying the food you eat. And this is a great resource for doing that. Now, you can see the website here, foodcomposition, all one word, .co.nz, and on the landing page we need to go to search. Now this gives us a couple of options. We can search for a food and then find out what's in that food, which can be quite useful if we're at the opposite end of the spectrum and we have very high intakes of something. We want to find out whether certain foods that are rich in that are likely to be the cause of our high intake. But in this example, we're actually going to search by nutrient so that we have the nutrient first and foremost and then find the foods that are richest in that nutrient. So I've selected that. Now here in the search for a nutrient, I'm going to use their example, iron. I found out that what you need to do is select it from the drop down. If you just put in iron, the search won't work. So select it from the drop down. Now you may have specific criteria as in where you'd like that additional iron to come from. So let's say you are looking to increase your vegetable intake anyway, or you're vegetarian or vegan and you're looking for iron-rich vegetables. But it could be any of these other options. And then we simply hit go. Now this provides us with, first of all, the food in this column, and then the standard serving size, but that might not be your serving size. So I find it most useful to always use the column that standardizes everything. So that's the per 100 gram column. This is how much iron there is on average in this food as described. So dry, red kidney beans, for example, per 100 grams. So I'm going to sort by that by clicking on it. Now I have the most iron dense food at the top and the least iron dense food somewhere down the bottom, not even on this particular page. And I can see that per 100 grams at least, this example on average will give me 20 milligrams of iron. So that's way more than most people are likely to need in a day. But it's also not particularly realistic to eat 100 grams of toasted nori. So I might keep looking. I'll look for something, one, where consuming a reasonable quantity is realistic, and two, that I'm inclined to consume. Because if I don't like something, then I'm not going to have it. Keep looking until you find something, oh yes, that's a food that I quite like, and I might eat it in reasonable amounts. And you probably want to find more than one food because you don't want to be having this every day. But it'll give you some ideas of, okay, what can you spread out across the week? What kind of foods could you add into your diet or have more of that are going to provide you with more iron? And I could use something else, vitamin B12, again, make sure I click on that. Now, vegetables generally aren't sources of this. So I might look at, let's say, meat, which I know is generally somewhat high in B12, but what are the highest sources? What would I have to eat the least of? I go, once again, per 100 grams, and I find, okay, liver is clearly quite a concentrated source of vitamin B12. What else? Well, we start getting into other non-offal cuts of meat, and that can be relatively high in B12. For example, turkey drumstick. Or, for example, if I wanted to increase my omega-3 fatty acid intake, I can also look. I'm going to search by all products now. There we go, per 100 grams, where I'm going to get the richest source from. Flaxseed oil, for example. That's how you can use this really useful function to plan a better, more nutrient dense or less deficient diet.